our slogan as our nation is e pluribus unum, from many, one. People came here from all over the world, and still do. They come here from all over the world for what? A chance to make it. Why could they make it here and you can't make it elsewhere? Because the one thing that we had in common was this. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, and among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and that governments are instituted among men to protect those rights. That is what the American experiment is. Government protects the rights of the people. That's its job. And it goes on the next sentence, and if that government ever becomes hostile to those rights, it's the right and responsibility, or the right and the duty of Americans to shake off the chains of that government and replace it with another more likely to protect those rights. Okay, so the whole thing is about protect the right of the individual. We used to believe that I would come from, my people came from Germany in the 1800s. I don't know where yours came from, but everybody here is an immigrant.
Yep.
And we came from other places somewhere along the line because we couldn't make it. Because I know in Germany back then, you weren't allowed to swim. You couldn't swim in the river. Okay. You couldn't swim in the river? What are you talking about? Can't swim in the river. You can't swim in a public lake? What is that? I don't even know, but you couldn't do it. Okay. All of these things that you couldn't do because the kings, the lords, the ladies, they made all of the rules. If the reason why we didn't have an Elon Musk until America, the reason why we didn't have these great inventions is because if you were working on the land of a lord, that land was given by the king. That lord, whatever you did, if you come up with a better toothbrush, you come up with the light bulb, you work, you toil, you don't get any of that. The Lord takes that, and now the Lord makes them and sells them, and you're left in the dust. So only the rich got richer. You could not leave your station. If you were born this way, you're always that way. People would come here because they could start fresh. It didn't matter where they came from, who their parents were, where they grew up. It didn't matter. And none of that mattered. Do you have a better idea? Will you work hard for it? Then you deserve success. That's the America, the idea that we need to get back to. We have lost the idea that all men are created equal by a creator. And life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is all of us. All of us get that. And no government, no person can change that. Government now is saying, we will dole out the rights. We will tell you what's true and what's not true. That is not the American experiment. So what you're feeling when you watch that and you go, the adults are in the room, you want that because he's reflecting a time when we still did believe in relatively the same things. Now you're feeling like, what am I even rooting for? Because we're no longer that, and you're having a hard time. It's a clash of civilizations.
Yes.
You can't make sense of it.
What am I
because
rooting
this
for?
Is right, but I don't want it here.
Yeah, it's like
this isn't that.
I want Mamdani to succeed in making the city affluent and safe. I don't want him to succeed in his vision of freeing prisoners and seizing the sources of production and getting rid of personal property. So I'm like, what?
But you know what, Jillian, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. This has been tried.
Yeah.
This has been tried so many times. It doesn't work. So this is a big hypothetical. Okay. But if the seizing of private property and production, if the releasing of prisoners actually made a better, safer, more prosperous world, wouldn't you at least consider going right?
Okay.
Immediately.
Yes,
you
I
would consider it. You'd be like, okay, all right, well, I was wrong. It works. Okay.
Okay.
But it doesn't work. It never
It's never worked.
Never works.
Right.
Do you know that Jamestown, where 1619 Project said we started in Jamestown. We didn't. Plymouth is where we started. Do you know that Jamestown, the settlers of Jamestown, came and they were socialists? They weren't called socialists at the time, but they implemented the socialist mentality that we put it all in one pile. It doesn't matter. You just take according to your needs. Okay. The Pilgrims did the same thing. In Jamestown, it ended in cannibalism. Okay. We've dug up bones where you can see the bite marks on the bones of children as they were trying to get the meat off of the bones of the children. Okay. It ended horrifically in starvation. In Plymouth, it ended, but they were reasonable people and went, okay, God tells us to share, but this doesn't work because some people are getting lazy. Some people are just living off of other people's work, and it's creating all these problems. It doesn't work. And so they stopped, and they went back to Adam Smith, Wealth of Nations and Moral Sentiments. When you take those two books and you put them together, that's where the magic happens. And that's why they were prosperous when Jamestown wasn't. We've tried this forever.
Right.
It never works.
All right, guys, if you like this clip and you want to watch the full episode, click here. And if you want more content like this, you can subscribe to the show by clicking